Hi, I'm Heather Bertram, and today I'm going to be talking about conditionals. So, what is it? The way I think about it is a conditional is a tool that is used to make decisions based on inputs. The computer reads the input and based on the code decides what to output, just like when we're making decisions. So, for example, when you complete the extra credit assignment, 2 points will be added to your quiz grade. Here, the condition is complete the extra credit assignment. If you do complete it, you will get 2 points. If you do not complete it, your grade will stay the same. Conditional statements must be true or false. In this example, when you complete the extra credit assignment, the condition is true. So, did you complete the extra credit assignment? Yes, true. And when you don't complete the assignment, the condition is false. What do they look like? In words, when you complete your extra credit assignment, you will receive 2 bonus points. Otherwise, your grade will not change. How can we write this as an if-then statement? Pause the video and try to write this as an if-then statement. Okay, so if you complete the assignment, so there's your condition, then your grade will increase by 2. You need variables and your statements need to result in a true or a false. So, your turn. What is the if statement and what is the then statement of you eat a snack when you are hungry? Well, if you are hungry, then you eat a snack. They can be written in different ways, but when we use the code, they're worded a little bit differently. Let's see it in Scratch. First, we set the values of the variables grade and extra credit. Next, the user inputs the value of the extra credit points. When the answer is equal to 2, then the values of grade and extra credit will change. Remember, only when. If the answer is equal to 2, then it will do it. It will not do it if it is false. So, since the value of the answer is 2, that means it's true. Our grade is now 89 and our extra credit is 2. In Python 3, it looks a little bit different. Just like before, first we set the variables grade and extra credit. When the extra credit equals 2, we will calculate a new grade and print. So, since the value of extra credit was true, since extra credit equals 2. So just like before, we have our variables up here. If extra credit equals 2, then this body of code will be completed. So we have it is true, so we move on to this. So new grade is grade plus extra credit. And we're going to print your grade is, and then we're going to print our new grade. So our new grade is 89. So what if we have more outcomes? You can have more than one outcome. Many times in life, we have choices that can result in many different outcomes. For example, when you are deciding what to eat, you might consider the time. If it is morning, you might have breakfast, but if it is midday, you might have lunch. We can also have additional outcomes in our code. If, then, else. These statements are used when we have 2 outcomes. Before, the code didn't do anything when the condition was false, but now it can. If you complete your extra credit, your grade will increase by 2 points. But if you don't complete it, your grade will stay the same. So let's think about this. What is the if statement and what is the then statement? What is the else? When I go to work, I check the weather. If it is sunny, I will walk, but if not, I will drive. So here we have 2 options. We have I will walk or I will drive. What is our if condition? If it is sunny, then I will walk. Else, I will drive. So we're just checking to see if is it sunny? If that's true, then yes, I walk. And if sunny is false, then I'm going to drive. Let's look at it in Scratch. So just like before, we set the variables and we ask for extra credit points. Next, the user inputs the value just like before, and if it equals to 2, then it will set the extra credit and change your grade. But this time we have this extra else. So first it checks to see if this statement is true, and then it will proceed. But if it is false, we're going to move down to this else. So there is another option for something when the answer is something other than 2. When we input 0 here, the then statement is false, so the code moves on to the else option. The sprite will now say, no extra credit, your grade is the same, and the value of your grade will not change. This is because the condition was false. In Python 3, first we set the variables grade and extra credit. When the extra credit equals 2, we're going to calculate the new grade and print. However, now there is another option. for when it is not equal to 2. So here I have my grade as 87 and my extra credit is 0. But the first thing my compiler is going to do is check, is extra credit equal to 2? False. So this is not true. This is false. So we're going to skip all of this code and we're going to move on to our else. So now it's going to print your grade is the same, which it printed down here. That's because this, if extra credit equals 2 is false. You can also have the if, else, else if. What if there was another option? Sometimes we have more than 2 possible outcomes. For example, every other day of the week at school, there is a different specialty lunch item. This means that there would be 4 possible outcomes. What would the code look like for this? First of all, let's talk about why there are 4 outcomes. We have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so those are our 3 outcomes, but we also have our else. So what about Tuesday or Thursday? Let's see what this would look like. So first we have the variable day of the week. Here it is set to Monday. What would be the output, and how do you know? So take a moment to pause this video and try to figure out what the output would be if it was Monday. Okay, so when we input something for the variable, the compiler will check to see if it knows what to do. First, it will check for our initial statement, if the day of the week is equal to Monday. So I have my variable right here, Monday. If day of the week equals Monday, so we're going to check this first. If day of the week equals Monday, let's think, is that true or false? True. Print pork chops. Since it is true, it will print pork chops. How would the compiler decide what to do for Thursday? So the first thing our compiler is going to do is check, is the day of the week Monday? True or false? Well, it's Thursday, so false. Next, we're going to move on to this. Else, if day of the week is Wednesday, well, is that true or false? False. We're going to move on to this next one. Else, if day of the week equals Friday. Well, is day of the week Friday? False. So we're going to move on to our final step, our else. We're going to print, there is no special today. So the compiler checks each one of these statements first before moving on to the else. So a conditional makes decisions based on whether or not a statement is true or false. We can have an if-then statement, an if-then else, and then we can also use if, else ifs, and else. Remember, your statements must evaluate to true or false. If you have an if, then, and the statement is false, nothing will happen. So just like before, when we only had the if-then, when we input something other than 2 for our extra credit, nothing happened. You need to include the else if you want the compiler to do something else when it is false. An else if is used when you have more than 2 outcomes. So this one's a little bit tricky, so first thing I want you to do is to pause the video and try to determine what this code does and what will be the outcome for 35, 45, and 25. But first let's talk about what this code does. So go ahead and pause the video and think about that. Okay, so this code is trying to calculate how much you owe on your credit card. So what will be the outcome for an input of 35? So we have our variables up here. We have our credit card payment, and it's set to nothing right now. And then we're going to print however much we paid. So if it's 35, the first thing my computer is going to do is it's going to check if the credit card payment is equal to 35. Well, is 35 equal to 35? That's true. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to calculate my new total. So this is a new variable. It's my total due minus my credit card payment. And then it's going to print minimum payment complete and then print my new total. So that would do all of this code for this. So this is my then. What about 45? Well, if our credit card payment, so now it's 45, is equal to 35. Well, it's not equal to 35. Let's move on to the next one. If it is less than 35, well, 45 isn't less than 35, so we're going to move on to our else. So these are our 3 options. We have equal to, less than, or greater than. So 45 is greater than. It's going to create that new variable, new total due. So we're going to have this, and then we're going to print our more than minimum and thank you, and then print a new total. What about 25? So we're going to check again. If credit card payment is equal to 35, well, false, so I'm going to move on to my next statement. Else if credit card payment is less than 35. Okay, good. It's less than 35, so that's true. So we can stop, and we're going to run this segment of code. So new total due is our total due, so 500 minus our credit card payment minus 25 plus our less fee. Since we paid the less than minimum fee, some credit cards do have that. you have to pay an extra fee since you're not paying the minimum. So it's going to print our minimum not met, and then it's going to print that new variable. So this is what our outcomes would look like. So first, it's going to print up here. This comes first too. So remember, our code reads top down. So we're going to print our credit card payment, so 35, and we checked this box, right? So we had if our credit card payment equals 35, then we're going to come up with our new total, and then we're going to print minimum payment complete, and then our new total right here. What about 45? Well, we decided that it was down here because it is not equal to and it is not less than 35. So we're going to print this statement and our new total due. So we have 455. And then what about for 25? We decided that it is not equal to 35, but it is less than 30. So when we have our 25, we decided that we're going to go with this code right here. So print our minimum not met, and we have a $40 charge. And then we're going to print our new total. And then we have our new total, which is 515. So just from this, I hope that you can see that there are a variety of ways that you can use conditionals in your code, and you can use them in different platforms such as Scratch and Python 3. And one thing to remember is that there always has to be a true or false statement. So if this was something different where you can't say it's true or false, it's just not going to work right. But I hope that you learned something about conditionals, and thank you for watching.